Hi, my name is Grace Persons. I'm 16 years old. I go to Buchanan High School, and the name of my documentary is The Hinds House, a story of compassion, love, and grief. I was inspired to make this documentary about Nancy Hinds and how the Hinds Hospice House started because it's just a story I've always been interested in. My family has been members with Hinds Hospice Angel Babies program for 17 years. And I made a documentary about that when I was in 8th grade, and I just wanted to learn more about Nancy because if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have that in our family. So her story was very important to me, and I wanted to share that with other people. I hope the audience will learn about Nancy because she's just such an important figure in our community, in my opinion. It's just, she created something so beautiful and so caring and loving, and more people need to know about it because it's helped so many people and it deserves to help so many more. So I hope they learn about Hinds Hospice and everything it provides for our community.
Importance of not necessarily what I do, but who I am. There's a difference. As far as titles, I was a wife for 6.5 years. I'm a registered nurse, and I had no plan as far as starting a hospice. I tried to find work right away so that I could take care of my sons. Had a wonderful orientation with St. Agnes and then worked there on the oncology unit. And working there, I loved the work, but my heart would break as I would see the different patients going home with a family member going to take care of them, but knowing that the end of life was near for them. I could see the fear in the face of the family member, not knowing what was coming, what was going to happen. So when it didn't work out for me with the work hours at the hospital, I thought, well, I know how to care for terminally ill people. And although caring for my husband when they were dying was such a painful and hard experience, I learned I could do it. I thought maybe I could just take care of these patients in my own home. I went to the Department of Health Services to find out if I needed a license to be able to care for a terminally ill patient in a private residence, and there was no such thing. Our agreement was that I would be able to take patients in, and as long as there was no complaint as far as care, that they would just understand that I was there and this is what I was doing. I just took the patients in my home, and I had 2, and then I realized I needed a bigger home. So I found one in the neighborhood that was for sale, and realized at this time I didn't have a job. I was just taking care of people in my home. But I knocked on the door of the home and I said, could I please see your house? The woman was very gracious, and she said, just talk to my husband. And he sits at this table and he goes, so you're interested in purchasing this house? You don't have a job. And I said, yes, that's right. And he said, well, the house that you're in, is that your house? And I said, yes, I've purchased it. He said, well, what if I purchase your house and then you can have the down payment for this house? I said, do you need my house? He said, no, but I believe in what you want to do and I want to be a part of it. And so that was the first real hospice home on Simpson Avenue. And so that was our home For 4 years, I received a call from a nursing home from a family who said, do you have a bed? And I said, yes, I do. I have a bed available. And of course I will take him. He had a living will that said, if I'm in a coma and there is no quality of life, I do not want feeding tubes. I do not want IV antibiotics. I don't want, and this was in his living will, but it was never abided by. So I brought him into my home, and all of a sudden, I got a call, and it said, when the wife of the patient was leaving, she said to the social worker at the nursing home, I'm taking him to Nancy so he can die in peace. And she interpreted that as murder and euthanasia. And I was reported to Department of Health Services, Adult Protective Services. And within hours, the police were all on my doorstep and gave notice that the home was to be closed. There aren't any words to describe what that felt like. People didn't know about hospice. They were afraid of it, and they felt that it was hastening death instead of allowing a natural death. I knew that if I were going to continue the work, that we needed to find a license to do skilled nursing in a private residence. So simultaneously, as we were working for licensing, I was looking for another home. And I was just driving down Fruit, and I saw a for sale by owner sign, and it was a corner home on Fruit and Twain. It just looked beautiful, and it just drew you in. It just said, come. That owner was going through cancer treatment and said they would be honored to wait for us to have enough money to purchase that home. We were able to purchase it because the community, what a wonderful, wonderful community who believes in the work. Way back then, when nobody else understood what hospice was, there was a movement of people believing and wanting to see this miracle happen. So now where we were is, what do? We don't have a license, but we've got patients. So the person came up with an idea that we could offer the patients as they come in a life estate deed, and that became their private residence. The Department of Health Services did not have jurisdiction over a private residence. So every patient that came in signed a life estate deed and gave me $1 that represented the money transaction for this to be their home. And that's what we did until we could write legislation that would allow us to have a home. Simultaneously, Senator Polanco was trying to get a bill passed that would care for AIDS patients. And you cannot have a bill that is disease specific. And so he put for terminally ill patients. We were able to get licensed under that bill. All of the people that came to be a part of that, the gift that the community gave us is now being given back to the community in ways that we never anticipated. As far as a legacy, for me, I was hoping that my life is walking God's legacy. It's not mine. It's nothing that I want for me, but I hope that I'm following why I was born. I feel that if anything continues, it'll be the love and compassion that we offer our patients and each other and into our community. and into the world, because it's not you there and me here. It's us interconnected. Pain and grief and love and compassion, all just came together, and it grew and continues to grow.